Happy Tuesday, January 2nd, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. We are keeping an eye on two big snowstorms that will be moving through the country over the next 7 to 10 days and breaking down the details. And we'll be looking ahead to the middle of January and how cold our temperatures will be getting. Before we get into the video, make sure if you are new to the channel to subscribe down below for detailed weather breakdowns across North America and the tropics. And also help me out to get to 75,000 subscribers by the end of January, and you can help me get there by simply subscribing to the channel down below. And also be sure to press the like button down below. It helps out more than you know. Looking out the side this morning for our low temperatures across the country, and it's predominantly below the freezing mark across much of the country. Many of us are waking up to temperatures in the middle and upper 20s, and you can see that freezing line going all the way south here into New Mexico, into central Texas there, and then across Dixie Alley there as we go into the deep south this morning. This afternoon, here are your high temperatures across the country, upper 20s to low 30s across the northern high plains and the upper Midwest. The Ohio Valley to the mid-Atlantic, we could be seeing highs in the middle 30s, and then further south from there, just 40s and 50s expected down there across the deep south and the southeast. Out west, we're going to be seeing some cooler weather as well. In the Rockies, the 20s and 30s, and then down to the south, the Phoenix region into the low 60s, and San Diego and Los Angeles into the low 60s for this afternoon. Here are your current weather conditions across the country, and you notice that we have a lot of dry time here. We have double-barreled areas of high pressure across the country, one out here into eastern Utah, and another one sitting basically over Little Rock here this morning. But we are keeping an eye on a storm system that is moving into Oregon, Washington, and Northwest California here today, and you can see that storm system with the vorticity. This is your mid-level vorticity, and the brighter the color, the more lift and the more spin you have in the atmosphere, and you can see that approaching the west coast as we go into later today, and then that will be diving down across the Four Corners region and into West Texas as we go late this week on Thursday, January 4th. So breaking this down over the next 3 days or so, you can see today very quiet. We have some snow up here into Ontario, Quebec, Canada. A couple of inches of accumulation will be possible. The eastern 2/3 of the U.S. will be dry, under control with this high pressure system, and the western third for the most part will be dry across the Rockies there with that other high pressure up here. But we do see some precipitation today across Washington state up near the Seattle region, getting down into Portland, Oregon there in western Oregon and northern California. As we go into Wednesday, more of that precipitation will be moving inland. The highest of elevations, we'll be seeing the snowfall out there. Obviously, the lower elevations too warm for snow, so it will be rainfall. We also have a weak system down here near the deep south and the Gulf Coast that will be producing some rain down near New Orleans, Jackson, Mississippi, Montgomery, Alabama on Wednesday. As we go into Thursday, that system will move off the East Coast, and then there's the system we're talking about moving across the Four Corners region. Albuquerque seeing some snow there, outside the Denver area seeing some snow, and northeastern Arizona, Utah, getting into Nevada, Idaho, western Montana, starting to see some snow as we go into Thursday. So what are we looking at with the precipitation? Here's your total accumulated precipitation here through the rest of this work week through Friday, January 5th. Notice mostly light precipitation, but there will be areas that see some heavier rainfall across the west coast. And with that first system, that leading system near the Gulf Coast there, including East Texas, possibly an inch or two of rain down there, and we need it. Beneficial rains across the deep south. Here's your snowfall accumulation in inches through the work week. Again, through Friday, January 5th, you can see the heaviest of the snows across the Sierras, possibly over 6 to 8 inches. Then that will be moving across the higher elevations of Nevada, getting into the Four Corners region, and then possibly a couple inches of snow there for Kansas. So let's zoom this in and show you part by part here, you can see the Sierras seeing 6 to 8 inches of snow or so. Then as we go outside the Las Vegas region to the northwest of Las Vegas, possibly 1 to 3 inches of snow there. Then just some hit or miss snow across portions of Utah, southwestern Colorado, northwestern New Mexico, and northeastern portions of Arizona. Another 1 to 3, possibly 4 inches of snow there through the work week. And then moving east from there, eastern Colorado, the Oklahoma, Texas panhandle, and then into portions there of western Kansas, southwestern Nebraska, widespread amounts of 2 to possibly up to 4 inches of snow through that Friday, January 5th timeframe. So possibly some shovelable snow across the Central Plains. Then as we get to the weekend, that system that's diving into the Four Corners region will round across the Gulf Coast here and then up the East Coast. We haven't seen this winter, and you can see 995 millibar low. That's a pretty strong low pressure system that's under 1,000 millibars for this weekend. So here's the cold air on the northern side, and we could be seeing some rain-snow mix and even a snow event for portions of the southern Ohio Valley here into the mid-Atlantic states, including the Appalachians there into West Virginia, northern Virginia. But notice the warm air not too far to the south from there. So the Carolinas predominantly all rain, down into Florida and Georgia all rain from this system on Saturday. Then Saturday night comes along. The peak of the system's event will be across the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast and near the coastal regions as well. Could be seeing some heavier snow. Zooming it in here, there could be a heavier band of snow setting up here somewhere across east central Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, getting into southern New York State, possibly including the New York City area and Long Island. That freezing line very close there though to New York City and Long Island, so we'll wait and see. Any wobble north or south with this track could mean the difference between all rain, a mix of rain and snow, or predominantly all snow. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go into Saturday night. But then as we go into Sunday, we're still seeing lingering snow for portions of the Boston region, down into Hartford there, into Rhode Island as well, and possibly New York City, seeing some cold enough air for a few flurries there as we go into Sunday. Here is your rainfall accumulation. Beneficial rains with this system across Mississippi, across Alabama, getting into Georgia, and then up the East Coast with that rain into southern Virginia, the Carolinas, and Florida. Widespread rainfall amounts, folks, of 1 to 3 inches here. And then looking at the snowfall, this is the European forecast model for snow, Saturday, January 6th through that Monday, January 8th timeframe. Notice it's setting up those 6 to 12 inch snowfall amounts from portions of northern Virginia, getting into Maryland there, east central portions of Pennsylvania, through the New York City area, getting through Long Island, the Hartford region, and then up toward Boston as well, and even Cape Cod, seeing some snow on this model. Compare that with the GFS model. It's a little bit more aggressive with those snowfall amounts, over a foot, possibly up to 15 inches there across southeastern and eastern Pennsylvania, possibly up to a foot near New York City, and then portions of the Boston region, 9 inches on this model, and it's basically in the same placement as the European model. Here is your most likely scenario and snowfall accumulations from this system right now. Here's what you could be seeing. You could see a track from eastern Pennsylvania through northern New Jersey, getting into southern New York, getting through the Connecticut and Rhode Island region, and then up through Massachusetts and possibly southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, and then coastal Maine. We could be seeing a swath there of 5 to 8 inches worth of snow with locally higher amounts possible. That is your most likely scenario between Saturday, January 6th and Monday, January 8th. Then, right on that storm's heels, we have another storm, and a more significant one, I do think, as well. It will be digging down further south than the one we see later on this weekend. You can see that trough actually digging not only to Texas, but even northern Mexico. So it's going to have a lot of cold air aloft with it by Monday, and then it'll start to really crank up. Negatively tilted trough there on Tuesday. Look at all those bright colors. Yeah, that's a strong low pressure system by Tuesday. And then moving off to the north and east into southeastern Canada and interior New England with that low pressure center as we go into the middle of next week on the 10th. So looking at the snowfall with this system, system. This is an analog from snow totals back on Groundhog Day of 2011, February 1st through the 3rd time frame. Notice it's taking a similar track to the storm we're watching early next week, pulling the snowfall amounts from northeastern Oklahoma through central Missouri into the Illinois Valley, including the Chicagoland area, getting up into Milwaukee, and then through central Michigan, and then some snowfall over here into the northeast. Well, looking at this on Sunday, there's that storm system across the Intermountain West. Again, another area of some very heavy snows across those higher elevations. Those ski resorts going to be loving all that snow out there on Sunday. Here are those snowfall accumulations. Yeah, this is with the second system there later on next week. And you can see we're talking about potentially a couple of inches of snow here from Montana down through Wyoming, down through Colorado and Utah. And then the heaviest of the snow is possibly into the outside the Phoenix region there, into portions of western and central New Mexico. And yes, that cold air aloft could be going further south than the first one. We could even see those higher elevation snows into northern Mexico as we go into Sunday the 7th as well. Then as we go into Monday, there's the system, 997 millibar low. That's a sub 1,000 millibar low. That is a strong storm. You got the rain and possibly some heavy rain at that. Severe weather preceding the storm. Cold air coming in on the backside. We got some snow there from New Mexico, Colorado, Nebraska, getting into west central Kansas. Then Tuesday comes along and there's the deformation snow band setting up, 981 millibar low. And notice, the stronger the low pressure system, the further north they tend to be, and that could pull in a lot more warmer air. So this is a tricky setup there for Chicago, the Peoria area in Illinois, and even Detroit as we go into Tuesday. Any wobble north or south with this track over the next few days will mean the difference between possibly several inches of accumulating snow, a mix of rain and snow with some slush out there, or just all rain with this system. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then you can see it peeling off to the north and east into southeastern Canada as a 975 millibar low. Some very heavy snows up there into Quebec as we go into Wednesday. So let's look at the scenarios here. Here's your European model snowfall in inches. It takes it from northeastern portions of Oklahoma, much like the Groundhog Day blizzard of 2011's track, through central Missouri, near the St. Louis region, getting up through Peoria, Illinois, Chicago, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and then up through portions of Michigan, especially the Grand Rapids, Lansing region, from Monday the 8th through Wednesday the 10th timeframe. Notice several inches of accumulation. Then looking at the GFS model, it's really not that different. It's a little bit further east and a little bit more aggressive as it tends to be here with some of those snowfall amounts, bringing the heavier snow through Chicago, Milwaukee, again, Grand Rapids, Lansing, down through Peoria and near the St. Louis region. Looking here at the probability of an inch or more of snowfall, it is up there, folks, 70, almost 80% here through portions of Michigan, southeast Wisconsin through the Milwaukee region, at least the northern suburbs of Chicago through northern Illinois, getting back here toward portions of southeastern Iowa, west central Illinois, and northeastern Missouri. Looking at the probability of 4 inches or more of snow with this system, and it's up there as well. You flip a coin, you get 50% here across portions of the Chicagoland area and surrounding suburbs, Milwaukee, possibly even into the Grand Rapids, Lansing region as well, seeing up to a 50% chance of 4 inches or more of snowfall with that system Monday, January 8th through Wednesday, January 10th. Then we talk about the warm side of the system, because not only will we be seeing a cold side with heavier snow, but we have to keep an eye on the heavy rain and severe weather threat. So here is your dew point temperatures across the deep south as we go into that Monday, January 8th and Tuesday, January 9th time frame. Dew point surging into the middle and upper 50s and possibly low to mid 60s near the Gulf Coast there. And that will be a recipe for instability to grow on Monday into Tuesday. And then that warm sector could reach areas that see snow with the first system all the way up into coastal New England as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday timeframe with dew points in the mid-50s there. Looking at this synoptically here, this is your kinematics, your wind, if you will, in the atmosphere. This is your 500 millibar mid-level jet stream, and look at that cranking here. Negatively tilted trough Monday into Tuesday, very strong winds a few thousand feet above our heads. And looking at the low-level jet stream, the 850 millibar jet, very, very formidable, folks. It's going to be screaming out of the south-southwest. So this is a perfect recipe for a strong line of storms. So you can see the storms starting to gather up on Monday, afternoon, evening time frame across the DFW Metroplex on east. So along and east of I-35 here, into portions of the Shreveport region, Lake Charles, New Orleans, you name it. We could be seeing some scattered showers and storms. A few strong thunderstorms will be possible. Then as we go into Monday night, more organized jet stream that I was just showing you starting to really crank up there across Dixie Alley and the Deep South. Likely having at least a broken line, if not a solid line, of showers and strong thunderstorms. These could be some big wind producers, 60, 70 mile per hour winds with some of the wind energy we do have. And also the tornado risk and hail risk could be there as well. And then that moves off to the east on Tuesday, entering into the Carolinas, Georgia, and northwestern Florida with a pretty solid line of some stronger thunderstorms. Moving it off to the north here across the Carolinas and Virginia and vicinity, you can see predominantly rain up into the southern Ohio Valley, into the mid-Atlantic states here. We got a little bit of a mix of rain and snow further north into Pennsylvania and the Appalachians, but there could be enough energy for some stronger storms even up here into the Carolinas, eastern Tennessee, getting into southern Virginia during that Tuesday, January 9th timeframe. So our severe weather outlook currently as it stands, Monday, January 8th through Tuesday, January 9th timeframe is possible still across the Dixie Alley region and the southeast, from East Texas through Louisiana, southern Arkansas through Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, getting into south central portions of South Carolina, and north central Florida during that time frame. All modes of severe weather would be in play. Other than that, even if you don't see severe weather, this will be a beneficial rainfall maker for the eastern U.S. You can see a lot of heavy rain here from the Ohio Valley through the southeast, the mid-Atlantic, and on up into the northeast. They're widespread, 1 to 3, maybe 4, even 5 inches of rain could be possible with some of those showers and storms out there through that time frame. And this is going to be good news for the drought. We want the drought to improve down here. We still have severe, extreme, and exceptional drought, and definitely seeing that improving if we do get all that rainfall here as we go in toward that next week time frame. Behind these storm systems is going to be a nice punch of cold air, the likes of which we haven't seen much of this winter. This is the second week in January, taking you up through that January 15th time frame through mid-month. Look at the cold air source. Western and northwestern Canada there, dropping down across the western 2/3 of the country, and then the eastern 2/3 will be a little warmer predominantly there. But then as we go deeper into January, the second half, that could shift further to the east. So here's your Monday, January 8th time frame. This is your high temperatures. Notice the colder air is out west there, and especially the Arctic air is going to be bottled up into Canada there as we go into Monday, milder air further to the east. As we go into the middle of next week, the 10th time frame on Wednesday, notice the Arctic air tries to move into the northern high plains and upper Midwest, but struggles to move further south. But we still see highs in the single digits above or below zero, even teens for highs up here into the northern U.S. on that Wednesday, January 10th time frame, and even the end of next week on Friday, January 12th. There's the cold air. That freezing line goes all the way south towards portions of the southern plains, the mid-south into the southern Ohio Valley there. We see predominantly teens and 20s for highs from the Ohio Valley through the central plains, and single digits on either side of zero across the northern high plains and the upper Midwest, and then double digit below zero highs up here into Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, and even Quebec, Canada, with a little bit deeper of a snowpack further up to the north. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel down below for accurate, detailed weather forecasts right here on this channel. Help me get to 75,000 subscribers by the end of this month. I do appreciate each and every one of my new subscribers and my subscribers that have been with me for so long. I do truly appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure to like the video down below as it gets this information out to more and more people. Share this video with friends, family, and on social media, and hope everybody has a great rest of their Tuesday out there.